when I look up, I just stood up. I saw was the bus was going toward the left side. Oh, it didn't look anything serious. So it was just going down. Then towards the left, I can see the left side that time.
It's like it hit the curb and kind of bounced quite a bit. And it's not unusual for the buses to rock quite a bit, and it's not unusual for, especially during that time when it was cold and there was a lot of snow and ice and so on around. So hitting bumps wasn't completely unusual, but it just seemed to suddenly be a lot of it.
The bus hasn't sort of corrected itself. It's hit something, and then what I feel happened is that what I think happened is we hit the curb, and then I bounce up even higher into the air, and then I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be bad.
Then I hear like a lot of people screaming and all these things. I think even the driver was yelling something, and she just took it back. So the vehicle which was going like this towards the left just turned all to the right and hit the shelter.
The overhang. I had the experience where it looked as if it ripped into the side of the bus and just started pushing the seats back, and all of that energy now was coming towards our side of the bus, and it was fast, and there was glass and just the sounds of metal, and it was all really quick, almost like when that last impact happened with the structure. It was like an explosion of glass, and all of that energy just sort of flying by us and sort of at us at the same time.
I looked up, and the roof started coming in. As it was coming in, it was all very surreal. It was very you can't even believe what you're seeing. It reminded me, later it reminded me of, you see those videos where boats come into dock too fast and they kind of push up against the pier and then just never seem to stop. Well, this roof was caving in and the seats were pushing back, and I noticed that the seat in front of me, was starting to move, and as I was pushing on that seat, I was wondering when it was going to stop.
Screaming, just screaming and yelling and confusion. There was confusion of what happened, and there was a lot of screaming. There was screaming, and once we got cut free, I remember because I couldn't stand, so I fell to the floor, and I looked down through the aisles, and there was just blood everywhere. I've never seen so much blood in my life, and because it was so cold, it was like this thick throughout the whole floor, just because I guess it was so cold and how congealed it was.
The whole front of it, there was daylight coming in. There was a cold wind, a breeze, and there was a lot of screaming. There was a lot of people, making a lot of noise, screaming, yelling, in moans of pain, I guess, more than anything. It was very apparent, obviously, that people had been injured, very seriously injured.
It's a bunch of seats piled up around us. It's people within the debris, people closest to us in a lot of trouble. But what we're noticing though is, like, when we look down at our feet, there's a lot of blood, and so. And you can start to smell, there's a sort of an irony smell. And so so then we're looking around, and I hear someone say, help me, I'm stuck. And I look over into the row in front of me, and there's a woman in a black jacket, and I think it's her saying, I'm stuck, and it is, and I grab the back of her coat, and I help her up, and then as there's nobody in our seats, so we get her situated, and as she turns around, we can see that she's in trouble.
When I stood up, I was thrown to the other side somehow, so that's where hit my left leg on a seat, or maybe something was coming, maybe even a bar which we hold, but it hit very badly, and I just fall onto another seat on the other side.
But your right leg was.
But I think my right leg still was, because I didn't fall completely. My right leg, especially just above the boots, just got stuck into the pinched seats. So it was between. It was not between seats. The problem was it was between the rods of the seats. So it was very badly crushed.
Firefighters were there very quickly. They were, I'm guessing 5 or 6 minutes. It really wasn't very long before the first firefighter showed up. So yeah, as time went on, it was at first, you're there, you don't know what to do. We're trying to figure out, several of us trying to figure out what we could do. We tried moving seats, that wouldn't work. There really wasn't anything we could do. One gentleman said to me, if you can get over these seats, maybe you could start pulling the seats away and it will just start to, it'll start to free people. I thought, okay. I said to him, okay. So then I was about to try and climb over the seats, but there was nowhere I could go without stepping on somebody or stepping on a seat, then of course further injuring somebody. So there's really nothing I could do. So it was a little bit of a helpless feeling at the time.
And so my first instinct was to, there's just a lot of blood, so I needed to do something to stop the blood if I could. And I told her that I needed her scarf. I grabbed it, I wrapped it around her leg as tight as I could. And then as she's sitting there, her toes are still stuck, her foot's a little still stuck in the wreckage, and so we start pushing the wreckage to try to get her foot uncaught. Her foot popped out and she's sitting there now, and of course people are coming on the scene, and we're making sure that people are aware that she's a critical case and that some of us are fine and then others are needing assistance immediately.
So I didn't feel the pain right away. It took maybe like I think 1 minute or something. Then it was so tough. It is just a destiny. This was meant for you. You have to take it. So that's what I feel. I don't regret anything, but only thing is that memories always haunts you.
I got to the hospital and they did x-rays and they asked me if I could move my toes, which I'm pretty sure I could at the time, and I said that's a good thing. So as soon as they said that, I was so relieved, because I legitimately thought I was going to lose my lower legs. And even to this day, I break down. Like, I talked to you on the phone, and I'm pretty sure I broke down on the phone when we talked. And like I said, some days are better than others. Some days I can talk about it no problem. Other days, I get 2 minutes into it and I just break down.
And I've had a little bit of stiffness, but nothing that you wouldn't expect, I guess. But it did take me quite a while to deal with it. I mean, with my military background and learning about PTSD and so on, I knew there was stages. I knew there was going to be stages that I would go through, and I identified those stages, and I've been going through those. But it took longer than I expected. It took longer than I really thought it would take for me to kind of get over it. Can't say I'm actually over it yet, honestly.
When the story broke that she was okay, I just felt this wave of relief, like, oh, that's such good news. And so it was something really positive for me, and has helped me a lot. Karen saved her own life. She fought hard to make sure that she stayed awake. She fought hard to make sure that she was asking for help. She let me tie her leg off, which is not something that is not painful. So she let me touch her and help her. And so I credit Karen with actually helping me be focused and have something positive to think of in my recovery.